weird. And the Zal guy who is
I like you characterizing him like that because he sounds like a Muppet or something. Like, couldn't you see him like doing like the like Grover,
like those wavy arms that like Kermit does, like yeah. He just reminds me of that.
Wacky two-bar wavable whatever.
Wacky,
yeah, one of those.
Inflatable. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Waving arm two. That's what it is.
Yeah, his demeanor definitely changes.
Yes. What's interesting is every time that we get a time shift, we still get the same pilot, and his attitude is different every time. Because as we're talking here, the Zal representative tells him, hey, I'll seize your ship and send you home in a cargo container. And Janeway's like, all right, everybody, just chill out. Like, let's try to solve this peacefully. But now here comes.
This Zal guy's kind of like, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm gonna shut your trap for you. It's like, what?
You won't shut your mouth, I'll shut it for you. Like, he's pretty much.
Yeah, like that's exactly how he was. And it was like, whoa.
Yeah, definitely. Like, these are two groups of people that are at each other's throats for sure. So this time wave is headed right their way. They can't escape it because it's destabilized their warp field. Janeway tells the crew to, brace for impact. And then as the time wave hits, the Zal ships disappear. The Krenim ship suddenly gets, super beefed up. Now it's like this warship. And now Voyager looks totally different. It's in darker lighting. There's clearly damage. Steve, you mentioned there's like random crew member dead on the floor. Clearly things have gone differently since time was changed. And of course, Voyager's not aware of it, but we're aware of it. Mm-hmm. And which is kind of cool that we see the difference here. So now the same pilot who before was like crazy pants, now he's like a Bond villain, and he's like in his swivel chair, turning around, stroking his cat like, hey, what are you doing in my space? Like, he's like a whole different guy.
Space cat.
Space cat, exactly.
It's a space cat.
Clearly, if they're in space, it's a space cat. I mean,
A galactic cat. I don't know.
Galactic cat,
Sorry.
A cosmic cat,
non-existent cat, because there is no cat in the scene. But okay,
it's a cat in my imagination, Steve.
That's the one. It's an alien cat because it's invisible.
Jeez.
Sorry. See, Rebecca and I, we just were imagining this because of the way that he was acting this time.
No, I got it.
Oh, so.
Bonk. I expect you to die. Like, he's that guy now.
Yeah. He's definitely like, oh, you're just a fly that's annoying me. Be gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, he even tells them, like, you violated our borders, and he's like, I would like to take your ship as a trophy before it gets too damaged. So if you surrender right now, I'll forego executing your crew. Like, he's doing them a huge favor or something. Mm-hmm. And Janeway here with another really great line where she says, I don't respond well to threats. And we'll see that she definitely does not respond well to threats. And she says, at the end of this scene, she says, this is turning into the week of hell. Little does she know, there's a whole lot more to come. So, the Krenim ship fires on Voyager. Because they have temporal weapons, they're basically, the torpedoes are going straight through the shielding. And so they have no choice, so they retreat at Warp 6. she puts the ship on 24-hour tactical alert, and Tuvok is going to try to develop some kind of shielding to protect them from these temporal torpedoes. Is there something bouncing or hitting or clicking?
Maybe it's my chair.
It's like someone's either bouncing a ball or like click or like hitting their keyboard keys.
I mean, I am playing basketball.
Oh, well, there you go.
I think it's my chair.
Oh, okay.
How dare you?
See, there's a weight limit that was on the instructions, but I have chosen to ignore it. So.
Oh, no.
Let me see.
Then all of a sudden, it's just going to go...
Oh, gosh.
And, he's going to collapse. It'd be terrible. We'll have to be like, we'll be right back. And
no, that's good
music
radio.
Or something.
Come on, that's good radio. Everybody wants to hear that.
Right? Ooh, hilarious.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. I just to stop the episode. I'm hearing this thing and I'm like, oh, what is that? What is that? Okay. Okay, great. So we go back to the Krenim time ship. We see Anorax in his like ready room, and he's got like this triangle Beauty and the Beast protective glass thing, and he's got one red lock of hair in it. And he's kind of like, this is clearly important to him. We don't yet know what it is exactly, but it's clearly important to him. Even
though we don't know what it is, it still seems pretty creepy.
It does. I mean, normally, if somebody has a lock of hair in like a special protective case covering, they're usually creepy or not usually. They can be creepy and maybe even a stalker. So you have to kind of ask yourself why. It's
not like one of those. Yeah, it's not like a Victorian locket with someone's hair in it or something. It's like, like this is like definitely like, I'm going to use this wonderful specimen for cloning, or I must keep them close to me.
Yes.
And pristine, that kind
Soon, my precious, we will be together. My precious. Yeah. It's kind of like that.
I mean, it is it is kind of like that. Anyway.
So, on the Krenim time ship, after Anorax is having a moment with the lock of hair, Oberst comes in and he says, there was a complete temporal restoration once we eliminated the Zal. And then Anorax gets like real kind of douchey here, and he's like, choose your words more carefully. What if I told you to count the stars in the cosmos? Could you do it? So was it really all the way? And it's like, oh boy, he's that guy. Okay, gotcha, he's that guy.
And how could you have taken 200 years of that? That's my question.
Right.
Yeah,
like that is like day one stuff. Like you're at your new job and you're just feeling out your boss, and your boss doesn't know you, and you don't know your boss, and he's just like, he's making sure you know that he's in charge, and he's talking down to you like you're his child. But 200 years later, and the guy's still talking to this guy like that.
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree.
I like later though when he's like, oh well, we don't say never when we have time, kind of thing, whatever he says. And it's like, that's sort of the opposite of what you just told what? And the guy like tries to call him out on it.
Yeah.
What's going on? Sorry.
Yeah, it's
I skipped.
No, that's quite all right. Yeah, we are about to learn in this scene as we go on here a little more exposition. He's telling him that basically with what they did with eliminating the Zal, the Krenim are back on top. They're like the number one head honcho people in this part of the galaxy. And and that it's a 98% restoration to how the timeline was before. And he does drop a line here, which we don't get really a resolution to until the next episode, where he says that there are no certain diseases. And it's like, that's very specific. But again, the payoff comes in episode 2 for that one. He basically says to Anorax, we've been doing this for 200 years. 200 years this crew has been on this ship, messing around with the timelines, trying to fix something. And the only reason why they don't age is because they're basically out of time. Like, they're not aging the same way because, 200 years, obviously they wouldn't be alive. But can you even imagine, like, spending 200 years trying to fix something and never ever coming, hitting that mark exactly 100%? How frustrating for this crew.
I mean, you're definitely taking that 98% after 200 years. Definitely. I don't care what. You're walking away with that being like, oh yeah, okay, my wife, yeah, that's fine. But 200 years later, 98%, my species is thriving. Like, let's just call this done. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what the crew was thinking. When they heard that 98%, they're all high-fiving, and they're like, this is it, we did it. Like, this is it, we're done, we get to go home. And Space Red was like, nah, bro, this ain't it.
Exactly. Well, and
I think...
Go ahead, Brooke.
Sorry, I was just going to make a joke. I think he would have benefited from watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and seeing that kind of thing just doesn't work.
Exactly. He should have just watched Into
the ancient movie Into the Spider-Verse,
and he would have known. Excuse me. Also, too, like, he particularly asks about the colony on Kiana Prime. Obrissa says no, in this timeline, the Imperium doesn't go that far. Okay, so now here's another piece to the puzzle. Whatever he's trying to restore is on that planet. He has to restore somebody to that planet. So we're starting to get a bigger picture here. Anorax is clearly like a man obsessed. He can't let go. His crew is weary. They are tired. They don't want to do this anymore, but they are basically trapped with this obsessed captain who will not let it go. And, you can just imagine this guy in another 500 years still at it. And his crew, like, at that point, like, how do you even go on? Like, I don't know if I could do it, but, and he basically tells Oberys, like, go back, do more calculations, even though the crew thinks the captain's lost his objectivity. He doesn't care. He is basically going to keep trying to make it right. So now we jump to day 32. We see another firefight between Voyager and a Krenim ship. Basically, Voyager can't fire weapons. The phaser banks are burned out. They can't launch torpedoes. We get word that Deck 5, which is where Sickbay is having a power overload. They can't stop it. The overload's spreading. The whole deck, or half the deck, is going to blow. So now there's like two exciting things happening. They're going to let the Krenim ship get close, and then they're going to kind of drop the torpedoes like mines, and they're also in the process of evacuating Sickbay here. Of course, Tom Paris does his thing. He maneuvers the ship, blah, blah, blah. They drop the mines. The Krenim ship is destroyed. But here we get, like, actually a really important scene in the episode where the doctor is evacuating Sickbay. He's loading all of his patients into the Jeffries tube. He sees two crewmen who are basically running to join them. Otherwise, they will be caught up in the blast. he holds the door open till literally the last possible second, and then he makes a choice. He closes the door to save